Hey everyone, welcome to That's Peculiar. I'm Nathan,
I'm Andra.
and Andra has a show for you today. So take it away.
We are going to warm up with a few of history's absurd moments.
We're living an absurd moment.
We are, and I felt like we could all use a little laugh right now, so. All right, story one, let's get into it. The burning firehouse of San Francisco.
What?
Yep, during a massive warehouse blaze on the San Francisco docks, firehouse number 27 rushed in to help. Unfortunately, the city had shut off hydrant access that week for maintenance. The firefighters ran the hose, but nothing came out. The flames, not caring about plumbing, jumped across the street and set the firehouse on fire. In the chaos, the next nearest firehouse was called in, and in tragic irony, also caught fire. By the end of the night, the San Francisco Fire Department had managed to successfully extinguish exactly themselves.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yep, we have a couple of these.
Oh my gosh, how did that? How
Can you just imagine?
Oh no,
Can
our
you
firehouse is
imagine all
on
the
fire.
people in the? Can you imagine all the people in like the paper the next day? Because this happened in 1915. So like, can you imagine news gets out and people are like, "Oh my god,
Yeah, I feel like
what would
they
we
had a
do?"
laugh. That's so funny.
Story number 2. This happened in 1891. A prestigious art gallery in Vienna had a grand opening for a painter named Hans Makart, but the guest of honor wasn't human, it was a donkey. Makart had jokingly let his donkey paint by dripping its tail in different colors and swishing it across the canvas, and critics had called it groundbreaking expressionism. To prove their devotion to modern art, one collector actually paid a month's salary for the painting. When he found out it was done by a donkey, he demanded a refund, and the gallery refused.
Uh, Absolutely. You don't get your money back for buying that.
Right.
Sorry.
You should have known it was a donkey. So the donkey's artwork now sits in an Austrian museum.
Huh.
Yep,
That's so interesting.
I know. Story number 3. The London beer flood.
A beer flood.
This happened in 1814.
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
On October 17th, 1814, one of London's largest breweries experienced a massive vat explosion, and over 320,000 gallons of beers burst from the brewery and rolled through the streets. It was like a brown tsunami.
Ew.
This isn't funny, but 8 people drowned in beer.
Oh no.
Enti-
Oh no.
Entire buildings were destroyed. Witnesses reported people scooping it up in pots and pans and crying, "It's free!" The brewery surprisingly suffered no legal punishment because the court declared
What?
the flood an act of God.
Ha- no, that would be negligence on the brewery's part for having a faulty vat.
It's an act of God. God was setting the beer free.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Maybe in
crazy.
1814 in London, they were just also going through a terrible time and needed a drink. But can you
Probably.
imagine just, like, living in the streets and then all of us like, not living in the streets, but, like, being there, and then just all of a
Be like,
sudden there's, like, a flood of beer?
does that smell like beer to you? I'm gonna
Yeah.
taste it.
People are just like pots and
That's
pans.
so
As
gross. I would
people
not. That's
It's also gross that people, like, died in it. I think that's grossing me
yeah.
out even more, and then they're, like, drinking it.
No, I it touched the ground. I'm not drinking it,
I don't have a problem
especially
with
in
the ground, I have a problem with,
1814.
like, a human dying in it.
No, it's the ground for me. The fact that it touched the ground, I'm not touching it, but then
I
then somebody
don't
drowned in it, then I'm all really not touching it.
I don't know why I'm thinking of, like, Mulan when she bombs that glacier, and then, like, the Hans is it the Hans army?
The
It's
Huns?
just, like, their heads and stuff are just, like,
Mm.
in
Oh, yeah,
there, and
when
then
Mushu's, like, going down, he's like, "Mulan? Hoo rah, nope,
and he just tucks them back in. I don't know,
nope."
that reminds me of that for some reason.
Probably because it was very
So,
liquidy.
uh, story 4 is Napoleon versus the rabbits. In 1807, Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte planned a celebratory rabbit hunt for himself and his generals after signing a peace treaty. Ironic. His event organizer, eager to impress, bought over 3,000 rabbits to hunt. Like, it just says
3,000?
but also, like, bought
You're
them.
guaranteed to hunt you're guaranteed to get at least 1 rabbit out of this.
When I think of, like, a rabbit hunt, I'm thinking, like, you're going into the woods. You're not, like, buying the rabbits to murder them.
Yeah, like, that's what I would think is that you're going into the woods with your dogs and you're having them sniff out like, I'm thinking Fox and the Hound status, where you have your hound
Right.
and you're trying to find them, and it's a hunt, like an actual hunt, not like a, "Release the bunnies."
Man, I think he must have been terrible. Like a terrible shot. They were like,
Musta.
"Let's get him the most rabbits." So, there was a problem, though. The man had bought tame, farm-raised rabbits,
And they didn't run
not
anywhere.
wild ones.
Oh my god.
When released, instead of scattering, the rabbits saw Napoleon and his men and assumed they were being fed and charged. Witnesses say the attack was like a fluffy tidal wave. Thousands of rabbits stampering towards the most powerful army in Europe, and Napoleon fled to his carriage, pursued by bunnies.
They're not gonna eat you, they just want you to feed them.
I just think it's hilarious after signing a peace treaty and then, like,
And then
gets chased
running
by
away.
rabbits.
How embarrassing.
It literally is, like, his most humiliating retreat.
Absolutely. Bunnies.
I think that's hilarious. I'm also, like, slightly glad, though, that they didn't hunt them,
No, they just let them
ran
free.
away from them.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last story before we get into the episode. This is the Great Molasses Flood of 1919. This isn't super funny if you actually look it up. It's actually pretty freaking brutal what happens, but it is pretty crazy if you just break it down, and my nephew was talking to me about this the other day, so shout out to T. So, 4 years after Boston had its beer flood, 4 years later, Boston had its own flood. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Okay.
So it's after the beer flood, it was 4 years later. A massive storage tank holding 2.3 million gallons of molasses burst without warning, sending a 25-foot high wave through the city at 35 miles per hour
Of molasses?
of molasses. And I've heard some
Oh my
about this.
god.
Actually, shout out to Morbid because they have a full episode, and trust me, their episode isn't, um It's brutal what happens, it's not funny, but, like, breaking this down into short stories, it sounds ridiculous, but,
Uh,
I think
I'm
they
gonna have to
said that it
listen
was
to it.
actually you should. I think they said that the molasses was also, like, hot. So I think it was also, like,
Ooh,
burning and sticky, and then
so
you know when,
that's
like
why it can move at 35 miles per hour.
when you're cooking and, like, you
Uh-huh.
get something hot, like, can you imagine hot syrup on your
Sticky?
skin?
Yeah,
How
no.
hard that would get to be to get off if it was, like, burning you?
It's burning and
Um,
sticking? No.
what's crazy is buildings were flattened, horses were stuck in, like, mid-gallop, and sidewalks were coated, obviously. For decades after, residents swore the streets of Boston smelled like molasses every summer.
I'm gonna have to
It
listen to that episode for sure. Yeah, that
No,
is
you really
fascinating.
should, it's so interesting and, like, everyone go listen to that because 'cause I'm not gonna do a full episode on it, but they did such a good episode. Morbid, everyone. I think it's called The Great Molasses Flood is the episode name.
Mhm.
Um, so it took city crews over 87,000 man-hours to clean it up,
Jeez.
you know? And if you guys think all of that is chaotic, let's get into our episode.
I'm
After
concerned.
I have a little light of something yummy. Okay, let's go into the story with what happened when Australia went to war with emus.
What?
I know.
A war with emus?
Yep. So it's 1932. The Great Depression had reached Australia. Things are rough. And thousands of ex-soldiers, men who'd fought bravely in World War One, had been given plots of farmed land by the government. It was part of like a soldier resettlement scheme meant
Yeah,
to help them rebuild their lives and feed the nation.
that makes sense. I would accept that.
Mhm. But the land wasn't easy to farm. Western Australia's soil was harsh, water was scarce, and global wheat prices had collapsed. So the veterans were basically struggling to survive. And
Mhm.
when the season's crops finally ripened, there was a new problem.
A pest, an emu.
Uh-huh. Emus, thousands of them. It literally called them flightless nightmares on two legs. So I didn't know
Where did they
this.
come from? Where did the like, how do you get thousands of emus on your farmland all of a sudden?
Emus are native to Australia. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
that's
'Cause
fair.
I didn't. I never knew that until, like, yesterday. Actually, this was supposed to air last week, so last week. But, I had no idea. So for anyone who doesn't know what a emu is, it's a large bird that can reach up to 6.2 feet tall and weigh about 100 pounds. They can sprint at 30 miles per hour and
They're
change
fast.
direction like Olympic sprinters. Their feet are strong enough to kick through wire fencing, and they travel in herds that can cover entire farmlands in
A
minutes.
apparently.
Yeah. So in 1932, as
Wait,
inland yeah,
say they travel in herds, so what is a group of emus called?
you should look that up. I
I
didn't even
will.
think of it. So basically, at this point, the farmers were hanging on by a thread, and then suddenly their fields turned into, like, an emu buffet. So every night what?
It's called a mob.
A mob a mob of emus came into the farm. That's hilarious. So every night, the emus would stampede like a mob through and eating grain, knocking down fences, and letting rabbits in, which was another pest.
Oh my
So the
gosh.
sound was said to be, like, deafening, like, literally like an army marching through fields. And because they're huge and they're fast.
That'd be
And
so scary.
I know. One farmer reportedly said the desperate farmers begged the government for help, and obviously they did not help them.
They're like that they're just pests. You can take care of them.
Yeah,
Aren't you
right.
military?
Yeah. Well, in October 1932, representatives from the farmers met with the Minister of Defense, Sir George Peace. They explained that they were losing everything, that no friends could hold the birds, and no amount of hunting made a dent. Pierce, who had a flair for military thinking, came up with an idea. He said to send the army.
Eh, mm, okay, send the army.
So after all these veteran soldiers were fighting in World War One, they now band together to fight birds,
To fight a mob of
a mob
emus.
of birds. So he approved a plan to deploy military personnel armed with machine guns. This is true. To assist the farmers in dealing with emu menace. Every time I sort of think like, "Oh my god, the world is crazy," I read something from, like, 1912 and I'm like, "At least
With
we're not sending
machine
an
guns.
army." Yeah, to fight emus. So the press soon caught wind of it, dubbing it the Great Emu
Oh,
War.
goodness me.
I know. In early November, Major G.P.W. Meredith, his name, of the Royal Australian Artillery arrived in Campion with 2 soldiers, 2 Lewis machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Yep. Meredith was a disciplined man. I can't get over his name's Meredith. It just, like, makes
His
me
name
think
is
of Parent
Meredith.
Trap. Last name, yeah. It's Major GP. I don't know. I didn't even bother looking up what GP stood for.
That's fine. We can call him
So,
Major
m
Meredith.
Major Meredith. So he's used to commanding soldiers in Europe. This was new territory, and obviously it's against emus, so the plan is simple. Track the emus, ambush them, and mow them down in large groups. Easy, right?
It yeah, that sounds easy. I mean, you just aim for the ginormous mob of birds and shoot them.
Yeah. The birds
I
that
almost
fly
feel like
30
they're
miles or run 30
run
miles
30
an
miles.
hour.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like somehow they're gonna end up being, like, kind of bulletproof.
Well, the first major encounter took place on November 2nd, so, like, last week, but in 1932. About 50 emus were spotted near Campion. The soldiers crept close and opened fire, but the birds startled and, lightning fast, scattered instantly and only a handful were killed. Meredith soon realized the birds were operating with uncanny coordination. So, just to add to,
They're
like,
not they're not working together, they're just running away.
they're uncannily coordinated, okay? So, just for anyone, I just wanna add to anybody laughing like Nathan and I got most of this from the Smithsonian.
No, the Smithsonian? Oh gosh,
So,
how
this
this
has
is
been
so weird.
reported on by the Smithsonian. Alright. Meredith later wrote that they seemed to have a commander that gave signals to the flock. Like, how embarrassing. They are birds that just have senses.
They just they went, "Oh, that was scary, and now there's loud noises. We should run." They're not getting
Yeah,
signaled.
right. By the second engagement, hundreds of emus had been spotted near a dam. The soldiers set up the guns, waited for the birds to approach, and perfect timing, opened fire. But after a few bursts, the guns jammed, and the emus fled in all directions unharmed. The local farmers who gathered to watch burst out laughing. Can you imagine these farmers? They're like, "Yeah, we've been trying to shoot them forever. You think you're gonna just come in and"
We've already tried that. That's why we're asking
Yeah,
for help, because that's not
for
working.
help that's not just this, yeah. The following week, Meredith didn't give up. Meredith decided to chase the birds. He mounted a machine gun on a truck, hoping to mow them down on the run. It was an awful idea.
Oh, no.
I've never been to Australia, but, like, the first words in the next sentence, the terrain was uneven and rocky. So the
Oh,
truck bounced
was it?
wildly, and the gunner couldn't aim, so the birds outpaced the vehicle. By the time they stopped, the soldiers had run through hundreds of rounds with almost nothing to show for it.
Oh my gosh. I just
Could
imagine being
you
like,
imagine? They're all, like, trying to aim, and the birds are just like, "Nope."
yeah, I mean, they're really adamant about just shooting at the birds instead of, like, I don't know, trying to corral them
Trapping?
and then
Yeah,
yeah.
it seems like yeah, I that it was exactly my thought. So at one point, a flock of about 1,000 birds was spotted moving across open farmland. Meredith's men set up a perfect ambush, lined
Oh, was
up,
it?
gun ready, crosshairs steady.
Sure.
When the command came, fire, only 12 birds fell and the rest vanished. And this was like 1,000 birds. In his reports, Meredith wrote, the soldiers couldn't help but feel like they were fighting organized resistance. Every time this guy gives a quote, I'm like,
I can't with him. They're not organized. They're just they're just birds. There's no organization.
yeah, they're just running because you're attacking them. By
They're coordinated.
mid-November, the results yeah, they know what they're doing. This army, like but what's low key, what's worse, these guys, like, won their part of World War One,
Of course. But they can't kill birds.
and now they're fighting birds.
Birds.
So, out of the 10,000 rounds of ammunition, they brought only a few hundred had been confirmed dead. That's roughly 1 bird for every 10 bullets fired, and apparently that's being generous. So, they
That
fired
is awful.
2,500 rounds and killed 50 emos. The British press picked it up, mocking the bird war as proof that Australia's wildlife was tougher than its army. And
I
then
would go with
there's
yes.
more, but some of the headlines that I read was, like most of them were, like, joking on the bird war and, like, the army, so very similar about how it's, like, the animals are tougher than the army.
Oh god.
Okay, by early December, we're here now, the government had had enough. Minister Pierce officially ordered the operation to stop, citing ineffectiveness. In 1 month, the soldiers had fired nearly all of their ammo and killed less than 5% of the invading force. The farmers were
Invading
furious. The
force.
military, right. The military was embarrassed, and the emus victorious. They're still just, like, chowing down on the farmland at this point of, like, ex-military people. Mm.
Oh.
So you would think that would be the end of it. Like, they lost, that would be the end, right?
No, I'm sure
No.
Meredith had problems with it and really wanted to go for it.
It's like, "Yeah!"
"I will get
In
you,
December
birds!"
1932, yeah, "I'll kill you all." In December 1932, after continued complaints from farmers, the operation was briefly restarted. This time, the soldiers were more strategic, focusing on smaller groups and ambush tactics. They did manage to kill around 100 birds a week, but the government soon realized that the operation was costing more in manpower and ammo than it was saving in crops. By the end of the year, the war was officially and permanently the war called off.
The war.
The emo war. So, approximately 986 emus were killed. Keep in mind, remember it was like 3,000 in one flock?
Yes, it was a bunch of them.
Maybe another 2,000 were injured. No human casualties unless you count wounded pride.
Yeah, the wounded pride, I'm sure, was a real big deal.
Yeah. So after the fiasco, farmers reported to more practical solutions like building the now famous emu exclusion fence, which is part of a larger rabbit proof barrier that stretches thousands of miles across Western Australia today.
I
Like we
never heard
said,
of an emu exclusion wall fence.
me either, but I don't think we've had to suffer that. But now I would like a deer exclusion wall.
Wouldn't that be nice?
The deers eat up my garden, but it's not really that
Yeah.
hard to keep them out. So, basically, the fence worked better than the army ever did.
Who would have thought?
Not Mayor. Major Meredith, to his credit, apparently didn't hold a grudge against his avian adversaries, is what it said. In his final report, he praised them. The Emu War became a running joke in Australian history, proof of how sometimes human arrogance meets nature's humor. Today,
Uh-huh.
it has been turned into documentaries, songs, memes, and even video games. There is an
Video
absurd indie
games.
game called Yep, it's an indie game called Emu War. So in this
I
game,
want
you
to play.
play as an emu fighting off humans with absurd power-ups. Can you imagine?
I wanna play this game
It
so
reminds
bad.
So every few years, someone inevitably brings it up, and it's like it's breaking news where it's like people are like, "Did this really happen?" Of course.
That's
Like us.
so
Maybe we're the one
funny.
within this next few years. I
Oh
know.
god, I think that
So, basically,
I cannot believe.
the world is kind of a funny place even when it seems pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's something to look into humor. I ended this with if history teaches us anything, it's that nature often wins. and sometimes they
Yeah,
will,
nature's
spectacularly.
nature's not going anywhere.
No, and emus are really strong, and like we said, I feel like catching them would have been, like, the way to go, and we wouldn't have to hear about a bunch of birds dying, but
Yeah, I do think
what?
I will probably would have tried to do the, like Native Americans when they would do was it the buffalo running? Where they would run them off a cliff?
Oh my god. That is
There was something like that. Yeah, that's what
I
I would have
I
reverted
think you're
to. I would
right,
have
but
tried
that
to
is crazy.
yeah, but that's what I would have tried to
Now
do is run
every
them
time
off a
I see
cliff.
Native Americans with buffaloes, I'm gonna just think that they're running them off a cliff. You know, like those paintings where it's like a Native
Yeah,
American and all the buffalo? It's probably what they're
yeah,
doing in that painting. I never
maybe.
knew. So if you want to look this up, the stuff that I found to be the most interesting, you can get this in the Australian War Memorial Archives. You can get this from the Great Emu War, Smithsonian Magazine, 2018. You can get this from the National Archives of Australia, the Parliament Debates, 1932 and 1933. And for some of the little extra stuff, some of the humorous stuff, I got from BBC History Extra when Australia went to war with the birds. That's what it's
That's
called.
so funny.
Oh, there is also Western Australia Museum, the Emu Menace, but I didn't personally find anything in that article that I didn't get from the Smithsonian, but if you wanna read that version instead of the Smithsonian, it was pretty similar.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that because that is,
Mhm.
crazy. I like
Yeah.
that so
Happy
much.
birthday, Nathan.
Oh, thank you. My birthday was yesterday. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, I do have to get finished packing for my trip to Argentina. So I will have more stuff to share when I get back.
Yay!
But thank you for sharing that
Yay!
today.
Hope you
And
have a
then,
great trip.
wow, thank you so much. And we'll talk to you next time on That's Peculiar. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on That's Peculiar. Tune in next week for another new episode.